All right. So with that, right? The magazine, the anthology that you were in, where do you see it going now? Now
So,
because the magazine that was that paid,
no,
right?
no,
Anthology, was that paid?
no.
All right. So we're going somewhere with this, folks. So how do we get to the success? Right? These are great accomplishments, but they're not putting food on the table.
100%.
Introducing the Poet Life Podcast. Go check it out today on your favorite platforms, including iTunes, Apple Music, and the website, thepoetlife.com.
Hey, it's Christoph Jenkins, founder and creator of the Poet Life and host of this awesome podcast. And I am excited to be back for season 6, episode 2. And listen, y'all got my guy here. If you don't know, if you're not watching the actual video on YouTube and you're just listening and you're just hearing my voice, you're going to hear another voice of Backpack Jeff. Jeff, what's up, bro?
What's going on, my brother? How you feeling, man?
All is well, man. I'm excited to have you here. This will simply be another conversation that we have on a 3, 4, 5 times a week basis. You know what I mean? So I'm excited to have you officially on the podcast, bro.
Thank you, man. I'm excited to be here. It's definitely an honor, and I'm super excited. And I can't wait to share with these folks and help some of these people out along their journey.
That's good. That's good, man. This is good stuff. This is really good stuff because if you all don't know, Backpack Jeff really is like my, I guess, partner in this poetry crime, if you will. You'll get in a space, as you climb, and you'll notice not everybody is also climbing with you. You know what I mean? And you do your best to, pull up who and everybody that you can. But there's only a few people that that are kind of climbing side by side, not necessarily doing exactly the same thing that you're doing, but they're doing their thing, the way they do it, but they're still moving and climbing with excellence. And it's like, yeah, I can see what he's doing. No jealousy, no envy, just like positive competition, if you will.
Sure.
Right. And not, again, positive competition to where, he just did that. Oh, I got to move. It's time for me to, you know what I'm saying? And I can call him, I can text him and be like, I see you.
Absolutely.
Matter of fact, he's better than me because he calls me more than I call him. I'm getting better at that. I'm doing my, I'm getting better at the calling, but he calls me and checks on me to see how I'm doing in the morning and what we got going on this week. What's up? Talk to me. How we living, how is the business going? And Jeff, I really appreciate that, man. I'm being completely honest. This is not just for the podcast. I tell my wife all the time, man, it's hard to build a circle, right, of like minds and efforts. So I appreciate you, bro.
I appreciate you too. It, like you said, it is definitely difficult. And when you see somebody whose work ethic you can also appreciate and has the same mentality, again, not like you said, not doing the same exact thing, but just that same mentality of information, the desire to go out and learn from other entrepreneurs. I really saw you grow and peak once you started taking those trips to Atlanta and learning from those entrepreneurs and being around them. And I was like, man, this is a person who is also well invested in themselves, but also well invested in information because they understand how information can, as cliche as it sounds, change your situation. And like you said, there's no jealousy, no envy or anything like that because we're both working. And the thing of it is there's more than enough money out here for all of us to win. There's more than enough success to pass around for all of us to win. And that's why I think what you and I do is so important in the community.
That's good. That's good, man. I don't think we've talked about this before as far as your start. I know you're not from the DMV, right? Where are you from?
I'm from the DMV area.
Right, but you moved.
I moved for 11 years. Right after I graduated from high school in 2007, I moved to Pennsylvania for 11 years. There, I completed my bachelor's degree and my master's degree. Right around the time I got into the insurance business, which is right in 2014, I started listening to motivational speakers because I was selling insurance. And anytime you're selling insurance, you got to stay motivated. You got to stay hungry. You got to stay focused because you work on flat commission. It's hunt to eat. And if you don't kill anything, then you don't get to eat. And if you don't sell any policies, then you don't get no paycheck. So I would listen to motivational speakers. And so I was thinking to myself, I was like, man, I have a story that is exactly like this, and I can tell a story this same exact way. But then I thought about it. I said, okay, if I'm going to do that, I need some sort of tool that I can use to resonate with the youth, to connect with the youth, to inspire the youth in an art form that they understand. And I knew I didn't want to be a rapper because with rap, you're subject to cadences, you're subject to a 16 bars, or you're subject to the beat, and you got to be on beat. With poetry, I can do whatever I want. I can make it sound however I want. I can rhyme the first word with the 21st word, and it will come out extremely well, just depending on how I present it. And so ever since then, I wrote my first poem. It's funny because I'm actually about to start hanging this stuff up in my office. My first ever poem was published in a magazine, and it's called Success. And I wrote this, and it was about a relationship that I wanted with success. But for so long, I had been in a relationship with her sister, Failure. And so the goal was get out of the relationship with Failure, get into the relationship with Success. And ever since then, things have just kind of elevated through the process, which we'll talk about as we continue.
Right. So this is good. I'm liking this trajectory here. You know, if you all are unfamiliar with the Poet Life podcast, you know, I don't have set questions. You know, I don't have set questions. I don't just run down a list of questions. This is just a dope conversation where I contacted Jeff. I asked him, you know, like, what's our overall, you know, direction, right? And then we get into the conversation, and then we go from there. Wherever it takes us, that's where we go. So in that, the reason I brought that up is because I didn't know that about your first poem ever to be published in a magazine. Tell us about that. How old were you? You look in that one, you look like what, 20s? What?
Yeah, definitely 20s. 26, 20, yeah, 26, yeah, something like that. And it was a shock to me because they called me and was just like, hey, we want to feature a poem. I'm like, I only have one poem. That was it. And they
wait. Sorry to cut you off. Now, what do you mean they called you? How and why did they call you?
So I was at this event in Pittsburgh, in downtown Pittsburgh. I was supporting a friend of mine. He's a 4-time Emmy Award-winning producer. His name is Ame Alaquiva. Shouts out to him. And he was introducing me. He was like taking me around and different things like that. And the guy was the person who writes in the magazines. He was asking me about what it is that I do. And I said, well, I'm on my way to becoming a motivational speaker. And I'm going to do that by also incorporating poetry within my speeches. He said, well, do you have any poetry right now that's clean that, you know, that would work? I was like, yeah. He was like, well, what is it about? I said, it's about success and, you know, how I've flirted with this relationship with success, you know, for all of my life. And I always wanted that, but I just couldn't have it because I wasn't ready for success. With success, you got to be ready for success. Like the perfect partner, you got to be ready for the perfect partner. Otherwise, you know, it won't end well. And so I wasn't ready for success, but I was able to get ready for success through trials and tribulations with Failure, and it prepared me for success. So yes, that was that was absolutely amazing. I got like 5 copies of that thing.
That's dope, man. What's the name of the magazine? Is it still in?
Arts Pittsburgh Local, issue 5, fall 2017.
Nice.
Like
That's
5
awesome, man. That is momentous right there, man. Okay. All right. So first poem, because let's be honest, that is an accomplishment that most poets have been striving to achieve, their poetry in an actual magazine. And for your first poem to be in a magazine, that has to have to kind of build your confidence and create some momentum for you.
100%. It all started with networking, number one, I think, which is one of the biggest keys to being able to get your stuff out there. You can find local magazines. You can find, these different magazines. And the thing of it is that you can reach out to them because they're always looking for people to get into their magazines. I'll take it a step further. My second poem ever was also published in a book. And the way that got published was after this one got published, people started talking to it. It was like, you should go and try to find some other ways to, publish your poetry. And I was like, okay. And I was doing research, like how to get your poems published and stuff like that. And you can submit your art to different places, and you can get your art published in books, and then they'll send you a copy of the book, or they'll send you the book at a discounted rate. And now your book, your poems are published. And I went out and I sought the information. Once I got wind of it, once I got a little taste of success, I started wanting more success. And it ended up happening that way. And that poem was called "She Has It."
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna just keep on not poking holes, but like really digging into what you're saying, because now here's the question. Let's take a step back. Why incorporate poetry into your public talk?
Into the speeches. Number one, I'm super nervous anytime I get up and speak. Super nervous, just like poetry. But I'm good at poetry, and I know the poem is going to be good. Even if this 45-minute speech is absolutely terrible, I know for sure you love that poem at the beginning. And if I feel like the speech is going super bad, I'm going to also do a poem at the end. So now I can wrap this up with the beginning and the end that was extremely amazing. And so what it does is it's different, it's unique, and it brings down defenses, and it breaks down barriers, because now people are not expecting you to get up there and, I never thought that life in a deck of cards would be relatable, but my life has been shuffled and cut so many times, I'm beginning to see the correlation. They're like, wait, what? What is he talking about? And then by the time
are we in a poem right now? Are we?
Right. Are we? Yeah. And that's the thing. And now they hear something that they like. It's like, wait, that was good. Oh, wait, I like that. And now you have their attention. So, and we only have a couple of seconds now to make a first impression. And I want my first impression of you to be that thing that he said in the beginning was absolutely amazing. And when I think about youth, they love to hear bars. They love to hear something artistic. They love to hear a little bit of flex. They love to hear something that rhymes, that's got a little scheme to it. They love to hear something that they can connect with. And poetry, words, creativity is what they can connect with. So that's the biggest reason why I use it.
Now, let me ask you this. Why, and this is an opinion piece here, why do you think that a large majority of poets have not made the connection between poetry and public speaking?
Because 45 minutes to an hour is a long time if you don't have anything to talk about. If you have something to talk about, it can go by in an instant. My speeches are literally one huge poem. If anybody has ever seen me speak, if you go to my YouTube channel, Backpack Jeff, you'll see 1 hour, 45-minute, 47-minute speeches. It's literally one huge poem. And I think one of the things that stops doing 45 minutes of poetry is very difficult, because it's not just about the poems. You got to know how to segue into a poem. You've got to know how to exit out of a poem and then into another poem and tell a story. So if you become good at storytelling, then you can make that transition easy. But I think a lot of people haven't made that transition because 45 minutes to an hour is nothing to play with. I've put the post out there and said, hey, if anybody wants to give 45 minutes to an hour to my group, my entrepreneur group that I have, by all means, come and give us 45 minutes to an hour, and we will constructive criticize if that's what you want. But if not, we'll just take whatever information, whatever, inspiration or motivation you have to offer. But I think the biggest thing is that 45 minutes is a long time.
Mm.
It's time to create an unforgettable experience at your next event with The Poet Life by booking a keynote poet. Poets excite your audience with motivating messages, charismatic delivery, colorful rhythm, powerful prose, and heart-filled stories with a style of spoken word that's tailored specifically to your event. The Poet Life has keynote poets in your city of all ages and backgrounds.
Visit thepoetlife.com to learn more and book your poet today. That's good. That's good. I've always wondered that. Because I'm just amazed at how poets can memorize pages upon pages of their poem, of their poetry, but have not made that connection to say, I can be a public speaker too. Even battle rappers.
I agree with you. You know what though, Christoph? You can't memorize a 45-minute speech. Let me not say that. You can memorize a 45-minute speech, but it's not going to go over well.
Why though? Like a battle rapper can do 5 minutes, 3 rounds each.
Because they're punchlines. That's why. When you're doing a speech, you got to be able to deliver information and at the same time be entertaining, provoke some sort of emotion or informative, right? You can do a whole poem and create a beautiful picture, but when you're doing a speech, people want to be taught something. People want to be entertained. They want to laugh. They want to cry. They want to feel like they learned something. They want to feel like they have some direction in their life when they're going out. Because if they don't, then was it really beneficial if they don't really have something tangible that they can walk away with? With poetry, it isn't really something. A lot of times, it isn't something tangible you can walk away with. It's an entertainment. So it's like, oh, okay, I was entertained by that. With speaking, though, you got to be able to push people to move by speaking into their souls. So I think memorize. I did that. My first long speech that got recorded was Martin Luther King's speech, and I memorized the 20-minute speech, and it was painful because I felt like if I missed a word, I'm like, oh crap,
it's over.
Oh gosh, where do I go from here? But so the way that I tell people to speak is memorize your story. If you can memorize certain stories in your life, it doesn't matter what parts you leave out because nobody knows the story but you. But it doesn't matter, if you add a little bit in to make it entertaining, engaging, or whatever. But if you just remember small pockets of stories, remember the lessons behind those stories, then you'll be able to speak for 45 minutes.
Yeah, I can agree with you on that. So I've gotten into public speaking as it relates to poetry and business, teaching creatives and poets how to create a career with their art. And because I lived year after year trying to figure out this puzzle of how to monetize, not just, all right, let me monetize this poem, but like consistently create opportunities with this art form, and because I'll never say fail, because I've taken an L, but the L is more so lesson, right? Because I've learned these lessons. I've been able to figure out how to create the W's, right? And so because that is a fact now, all of the frustration, all of the headache of this is not working. I don't know if this is possible. But kept on going. I now have the opportunity and the capability to do 4 hours of a public talk, a public speech as it relates to this journey that I've been on and how I can simply share the journey I've been on and possibly it helps somebody else. And that blew my mind. To be honest with you, I think I was in London when that was my first stand up, speak in front of a crowd of people. And I didn't know how long I was going to go. It ended up being 4 hours, bro.
Wow.
4 hours. And here's the thing. I don't know if you can just give me a topic and I can go like that. Like you said, I think you really have to live it and it has to be a part of you. Whatever the topic is, it needs to become you, right? And so it just kind of pours out. For me, that's how this is. And you can put me anywhere in front of a large crowd now as it relates to this subject matter. Give me something else. I don't know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? So I agree with that, man. And I encourage poets everywhere, take a look at it. Take a look at public speaking. Like Jeff said, it isn't about poem after poem after poem after poem. It's about telling a story and incorporating the vehicle of poetry, sprinkling it throughout your story to enhance the presentation of your story. Right. So I think of Kevin Hart. He doesn't do joke after joke after joke. He tells a story about his family, his father, his kids, and he sprinkles jokes, like naturally presented jokes throughout the story, man. So that's beautiful. How is the
not slapstick comedy? It's storytelling.
Got you. Yes. There you go. Exactly. Yep. So how is it going, man? How is it going since the age of mid-20s? And how is it going now? Where are you with it now?
I can definitely say that life has taken a turn for the best at this point. I'm more settled in what it is that I'm doing now because I understand my direction and I have clarity. One of the reasons why I didn't hire a business coach early on was because from listening to their podcast, the one thing that they talked about was clarity. You need clarity. So when people ask me, well, Jeff, what is it that you speak on? Well, I just speak. Well, that's not, well, who's your target audience? Anybody's my target audience.
Whoever's in front of me.
Right. Whoever's in front of me. And here's the thing. Just because you have a target audience does not mean that you won't sometimes dibble and dabble in another thing. I didn't understand that. I thought if my target audience is college students, then I would never be able to speak to adults.
Right.
It's not necessarily true. Right. The Rock's target audience in the beginning was people who love wrestling. Now movies. So right now I'm in a space of, I'll put it poetically. I don't want to hit any more singles or doubles. I'm looking to hit home runs and grand slams right now. I've hit enough I've hit enough singles. I've hit enough doubles, and I'm looking to hit grand slams because I have clarity, because I understand where my business is going, because I have my back office set up, because I have a support team that's around me And because, I'm understanding where my business is going in a direction that it needs to go into. And the only thing that is separating me from where I desire to be is action. And I think that's the one word that a lot of people don't like to talk about. And that's the thing that separates them from other people who they look up to, who they admire, who they may envy, is action. The only reason that they're doing more than you is because they're more active than you.
Yeah, but before the action is that mindset shift, because you won't even think to put that amount of action in if you have not made that mindset shift.
Mm-hmm.
Can we agree on that?
I 100% agree. When my name or the name that I went by, or the name of my organization was Young Lungs Motivation, I talked about that was about like breathing life into the goals and dreams of our youth. That was the tagline. And the reason why I say breathing life into the goals and dreams of our youth was because I feel like the youth, their dreams were dying. And so anytime someone is dying, what do we have to do? We have to give them CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation. Same thing we have to do with our dreams. But for this part, CPR stands for core perseverance restoration. You got to start with the core. The core. You got to start with this, because nothing else works without the core operating properly. You can put the old man in a new car, you're still going to have the same drive. Reason being is because never change the man. You bring the old you to a new relationship, it's going to turn into the old relationship very quickly. Why? Because you never change you. You got to start with the core. You literally have to dump out all of that negative stuff that you got in your mind, all of that backwards thinking, all of that toxicity, all of that ego, all of the drama. You got to dump all of that stuff out, and you just got to pour positive stuff into it. And you got to keep pouring and keep pouring and keep pouring. When I started this journey, I had no idea where I was going, but all I knew was that number one, I needed more information. And that number two, these speakers, they kept telling me mindset, 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 mindset. A lot of times we don't want to do stuff because we don't fully understand. But you use electricity. Do you understand how it works? No. You use a microwave. Do you understand fully how it works? No. You know it can heat up your food. That's about it, right? But don't try to understand how positivity works and plays a part in your life, and is it really going to change me? Go into it believing that it can change you and that it will. But if you're resistant, then it's not going to change you. It's not going to change you, and you're going to get from it exactly what you believe that you can get from it, which is nothing, because your eyes can only see and your ears can only hear what your mind is looking for. If you're looking for nothing, you're going to find nothing quickly.
That's good. That's good. So tell me, you currently have a 9-to-5, right?
Correct.
Right. And you said that you wanted success. Tell me why this lane is the success that you're looking to achieve.
Because in this lane, I can help more people. If I wanted to help people now, I could probably help about one person a year. But if I do this, if I become extremely successful in this, imagine how many people I can help if I was a millionaire. Mm-hmm. In the song God Did, Jay-Z said they didn't mess around and gave the right dudes money. Imagine if people who are pure-hearted, who are giving, loving, kind, willing to invest in people, had money to give. How many people they could possibly help? Mm-hmm. That's the reason why I decided to take this lane, was because I foresee that I can help more people. And subsequently, what happens is I also get rewarded for that. So part of that is selfish in some way, just being honest. But I can help way more people. The more I become successful, the more I help myself. So I decided to give myself to myself so that I can then give myself to other people later on down the line.
Okay. Got it. All right. So magazine, the second poem was in
a book.
In a book. Was that like
what is it called? There are a whole bunch of poets right there. I can't remember.
Anthology.
And that thing, that's what it was.
Got it. Got you.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So with that, right? The magazine, the anthology that you were in, where do you see it going now? Now, because the magazine was that paid?
No.
Right? Anthology, was that paid?
No.
All right. So we're going somewhere with this, folks. So how do we get to the success, right? These are great accomplishments, but they're not putting food on the table.
100%. And the way that you do that is, number one, you have to find out where your avatar resides. And your avatar is essentially the people who can book you, your ideal customers, people who can pay you for whatever skill or talent it is that you have. You have to find out where they reside. I'll tell you a couple places that they reside. Number one, Facebook groups. Number two, Instagram. Number three, Meetup. Number four, Eventbrite. Here's the thing. You can reach out to all of these people using the exact same language. That's what I do. I created a reach out email for all of these different platforms. And I reach out to people and I ask them, hey, I'm a poet in the area. My name is Backpack Jeff. I would love to come and be a part of your event at an opening. Now here's the thing. I'd say in this email, I want to do it for free. Again, I know we're still talking about free and we want to make some money, but don't worry, I got you. Here's the thinking. People who go to events also throw their own events. When you go and you absolutely shut it down and everyone loves you, everyone adores you, you're going to get a ton of new followers who you can then sell something to, because you should be selling on Instagram, social media platforms. Number two, they don't know that you're there for free. All they know is that this person came, did some poetry, and it was absolutely fire. I want him or her at my event. Hey, how much do you charge in order to do this? I have an event coming up in 2 months. I would love for you to come to my event too. Oh, now let's start talking about money. Here's how you get it, right? Now, here's what also happens. Because you did so well at this one event, guess what you do? Next year when they have that same event, they're going to reach out to you. I've had someone reach out to me for 3 consecutive years and ask me to do their event. The first year I did it for free, but they paid me anyway. I told her I would do it for free. She paid me anyway. The second year she paid me. But the second year I said, hey, I'll write a poem specifically for this event and I'll call it SpeakerCon. And this will be your poem every single year. So
all right. We hold on. We getting in workshop mode. Hold on.
Hey, listen, I'm just trying to teach them how to make some money, you know? I want to help them get in their bag so they ain't got to chase the bag.
All right. So you know that now. Did you know all of that then after that anthology, after that magazine?
No, it took it took going to workshops, it took hiring coaches, it took going to networking events, it took listening to podcasts, it took reading books.
So it took this. It took
all
mindset change, the process of transforming your mind.
Yes, because you have to learn how to think a certain way in this business. And as an entrepreneur, in the business of entrepreneurship, you got to learn how to think a certain way, because when I teach my group, I teach them you gotta create a money tree. Okay. Mom said money don't grow on trees, but you got to create a money tree. In my tree, I'm rooted in discipline and humility and integrity and balance and information and knowledge. These are all of my roots. the more roots I have underneath, the healthier my tree will be. The bigger my tree can be. My tree trunk is speaking. Now, off of my tree trunk, I can branch off and do poetry. I can branch off and do a podcast. I can branch off and have a merch line. I can branch off and have a podcast. I can branch off and do coaching. I can branch off and do a conference. I can branch off and do, but at the core of who I am and what I am, I'm a speaker.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can also, again, that's the whole thing of just because you have a target audience doesn't mean that you won't overhear one time and get a nice little bag.
Yeah. So yeah, in business, we call those verticals. Right. And right. The clothing line, the public speaking is the base. But like you said, the coaching, those are the different verticals that you can go down. Yeah, that's good, man, because it's so key to understand that this is not going to be overnight.
For sure.
That's where I'm trying to get to, right? But here's the thing. If you're in this for the overnight, get out of it.
Because it's not going to happen. In fact, I'll tell you this. My first speaking engagement, I just knew I was going to kill it. Man, I rented out a 500-seat theater. Said I'm going to go around and I was going to sell tickets. $30, man. $30, easy. Everybody got $30. And I know people are going to want to come because who doesn't want to be motivated? Who doesn't want to be inspired? Who doesn't want to be entertained? I'm going to have my church. They're going to come in. They're going to do some singing and open it up, man. 15 people in the praise team. They're going to come out. I sold 15 tickets. I lost around $1,500 that night.
I was waiting for the punchline because I remember those days.
I was so crazy, Christoph. I went back and I did it again. I said, I know where I messed up the first time. This time I got it. I'm going to bring somebody else on with me. I'm going to bring this girl named Daylin Thomas. I'm going to bring her on with me. But this time I'm going to hire comedians to come in. Everybody loves a good laugh. Everybody loves a laugh, man. Come on now. But I'm going to do poetry in between these comedians. Rented out the same theater. Sold 40 tickets. But my co-host, she kept asking me how much was everything going to cost. I said, look, don't worry about how much everything's going to cost. If there's any downfall, I will take it. If there's any downfall, I'll pick up the rest. So the night of the show, we go. I'm like, all right, where's the money at from the tickets that you sold? She was like, you wanted that? And I was like, yeah. She said, that's why I was asking you how much was everything going to cost, because I would have gave you some of it. You'd have gave me some of it? I want all of it. Where is it at? I use it as a down payment to buy a new car. Lost over $2,000 that night. So my first year in entrepreneurship, I'm already $3,500 in the hole. Already, when I tell you I paid my dues, man, I paid my dues.
Yeah.
And then from there, it took me going out and just understanding and learning more. In the beginning, you're going to spend a lot, but we know the saying, you got to spend money to make money.
Mm-hmm.
We know it. Yeah. In the beginning, everybody's going to tell you you're going to lose money. And sometimes you don't believe it. You're like, I'm not going to lose money, but inevitably, I don't know how it happens, but I think losing money is a part of the journey.
Oh, for sure. For sure. For sure. This is how I look at those L's, those lessons learned, right? I look at it like this. It's like without those rock bottoms, the story is boring.
Yeah.
Story is boring, right? Like if I didn't tell you the first festival for the Poet Life Fest that I put on, it took me a year to get out of that because of it. Oh, I did a festival. Oh, great. It was fun. It was. But what would you get from that? You know what I mean? Like now I can really go into the nitty-gritty of the behind the scenes of the
Mm-hmm.
Poet Life Fest and all of what it took and how much money I had to spend because people didn't believe that a poetry fest was possible, right? They didn't think that people outside of poetry would see the value in a poetry fest. And I had to make it free to get the number so they could see the value in a Poet Life Fest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And but you gotta know the value that you're bringing, right? I just need y'all to come, just come check it out,
Right.
right? And people that thought they weren't into poetry stayed 6, 8 hours, got there early, stayed late, and admittedly said, I didn't think I was going to stay here that long, man. I ain't really into poetry like that, Uh, but this was dope. In the heart of Southeast DC.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that that is it can't be smooth.
Right.
What's your book on? What's your book gonna say? What the book gonna be short,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And there's no peaks and no valleys. You want a book where we're just reading a linear line. No, I want to see where the potholes were and how you got out of them and how long it took. And now that I see that you're still going, how did you do that? That's how I see it. And so when I'm in one of those situations, in an L, that's what I hold on to is when I write this book. When I write this book and tell them the ugliness of, bro, the laughter when you're saying that you're starting a poetry business, close people, friends, yeah, no, that's hilarious. Never heard of a poetry business. Oh, okay, not a problem. We got you. I'll just check me out in a few years. Because the thing is, again, if you're not in this, if this is not big enough to give it 10 years, don't even start.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you're going to need to get there before you experience the real fruit.
Yeah.
Like this, I wrote my first poem back in 2016. I've got 2 more years before I get to my 10-year mark.
Ooh, you're in year 8?
I'm in year 8.
Yo, I'm in year 8 too.
I'm in year 8. I wrote my first poem in 2016. I was published in 2017. I went to nationals 2017 as a poet. Didn't know what I was doing. It was my first time, and like you said, it's going to take 10 years. And the thing is that a lot of people they won't last that long. And here's my thing too. Even though I started in 2016, I wasn't as focused as I am and as I have been for the last 5 years. Like the last 5 years, I've been dialed in. Since I came back to Maryland in 2018, man, I've been dialed in, locked in. I mean, completely focused on
I've seen it.
Development, information, success, and activity. Activity. I'm telling you, I cannot stress enough activity.
Yeah. That's good. Okay. All right. So where did the real shift come in for you to say, I see it now. I see the light, if you will. You saw a glimpse, the magazine and and the anthology and some slams and things of that nature. But like, as far as possible career, not I'm in the poetry community. Well, when did you get to the poetry industry?
You know what? I never answered this question before. I've never been asked this question before. I should say that.
Mm-hmm.
But thinking about it, I think it happened in 2018 when I went to nationals in 2017. My first year into writing poetry, I dropped a poem on stage at nationals.
What does that mean?
Meaning I forgot the poem halfway through. And my team lost because of that. Next year, 2018, was my redemption year. I was going back to nationals. I was going to kill it. And I made nationals too. I
need to know how that felt and how that went.
I was in Denver, Colorado. All I could do was apologize to my team. Because and I only had one poem. They had like 7. I only had one poem. And it was a poem that I knew, but being up there in the light in front of everyone and I'm getting judged. Oh shoot, what's the line?
They said you had one job to do.
And we lost because of my poem. So we didn't get to make it to the second round. But 2018 was my redemption year. I made nationals. I was writing. I had been in other competitions, solo competitions in between. I was winning solo competitions in between. I was winning money. I was like, I'm going to nationals next year and I'm going to kill it. I promise you.
Same team or as a single?
And I was for a different team because I was on the Pittsburgh team in 2017. I was going to be in the DC team in 2018. And so I came back, I made the team. And then a week before we were supposed to go to Chicago, the poetry coach came to me and said, "You're not ready. Your poems aren't good enough." Cut me to my soul. Even more hurt, throwing salt in the wound. He went back and told the team that I said, I don't want to participate anymore because I don't feel like I'm ready.
Wow.
But so that competition was maybe for like $5,000 or something like that, or maybe $10,000 for the whole team. But the week that I was supposed to be gone to Chicago, I had already taken off a work vacation. The week that I was supposed to be gone, I ended up getting booked for 4 out of the 5 days that I was supposed to be gone as a speaker around the country. They paid for my flights. They paid my mileage. They paid hotels. They paid the honorarium. They had food vouchers for the day. And that week, I came up with a saying and it said, "Don't cry over spilled milk. Clean it up and go get yourself a bigger glass because obviously you were meant for more." I could have been very upset about that, but I wasn't. And the reason being is because within 24 hours, 48 hours after getting that text that says I'm no longer on the team, booking. And we need you here in 2 to 3 weeks. And for that week that I was supposed to be gone, I was traveling and I was making money doing poetry and speaking. So what I was going to be doing for that week anyway, I now had an opportunity to do it. And now instead of spending money, I'm making money. And so that week, that really showed me what was possible. And then, this last year showed me what was possible in terms of income. I hit my first 6-figure year last year. This year, this year, I think I'm going to double what I did last year, which is great. And so since 2018, it started, but now over the last 2 years, it really showed me what's possible in this business.
That's good. That's good. So right there is that transition of not leaving the community, right? but stepping into the industry of poetry. And so that then told you, okay, all right, I see where the financial benefit is now. What's your next move to create consistency?
First thing is to set up my back office. I'm big on systems, operations, and procedures. So set up a CRM, set up an SOP. SOP is standard operating procedures. CRM is customer relationship management tool. This is where reading all of the books, thinking business, understanding business comes into play, because you got to start thinking certain ways. So I'll give you an example of what I do, right? When I go to a college, I hit a college with a trifecta, right? This is again me. I don't want to hit no more singles and doubles. I'm looking for home runs and grand slams. I'm going to go to them. I'm going to say, hey, I want to come to you as a speaker. As a speaker, I'm going to do a poem or two in that speech. Great. Now, I'm also going to say, hey, after the speech is done, I only told your kids what to do. I couldn't really tell them how to do it because I simply don't have enough time and I'm not training. How about we do a speech plus we do a workshop? Okay, got it. Great. Boom. Wow. After both of those events are done, you know what? You're and in the workshop, guess what I'm going to do in the workshop? Another poem or two. Why? Because I'm planting seeds. I'm planting seeds. Hey, you know what? That was absolutely amazing. Your kids are probably overwhelmed with all of the information and the inspiration. But I'm saying that to say, did you see how well they responded to the poetry? Have you ever thought about bringing an open mic to your university where I would bring in myself and 3 other artists? We would do 15 minutes each. We would take up the first hour, and then we would open it up as an open mic to your students for the second hour. Or if we don't have any entertainment, we will do another hour ourselves as the entertainment. But we can open it up to your students. I'll host and I'll perform, and I'll bring in some other artists, and we'll do that for them. Yeah, absolutely, right. So now I'm at the trifecta stage. Now here comes the home run. Hey, I also have journals, I have t-shirts, I have merch and stuff like that to sell. Would you be interested in purchasing something for your students as giveaways? Right? Don't ask them to sometimes it's difficult to get them to purchase it right away, like right off the top. But if you present it as a giveaway, that makes them look good. Hey, look, come to this event because we're doing a giveaway. We're giving away Backpack Jeff hoodies and t-shirts and journals and all of these great things, right? So another way to make money off of it. So right now, I've got 4 ways to make money off of this event. Then here's what I do. After that event is over, if there's a line in a poem that people love, that they absolutely went crazy for, I'll kiss her on the lips in the morning. I don't even care, because even her morning breath is a breath of fresh air. I'm going to take that, put it in Canva, put it on a poster, and now I'm going to say, hey, here's a poster for you. Put this in your office. And now when the other kids and the students and they come into their office, they're going to be like, that was Backpack Jeff. I remember that line. Where'd you get that? Can I get one of those? How do we get? So always keep in contact. So that was like the order of what it was that I did. And you got to be able to keep track of each one of these different customers. And you do that through a CRM.
CRM. Got you. Now, before the CRM and the reach out email, right? You got to have services.
You got to have services.
Okay.
Yes.
So how did you know you needed to have services?
Because I saw my mentors do it. I saw my mentors do it. I saw Eric Thomas do it. Eric Thomas wasn't just speaking no more. He was doing trainings. He was doing workshops. He was doing coaching. He was doing teaching, all of these different things. And for me, I'm not trying to do something new. I was at a conference the other day, and the woman said, stop trying to do something new. All you got to do is copy the right cat. And that's what I did. I copied the right cat. So I saw him doing it, and I said to myself, hey, now I got to get on this same thing. And then what I did was I just did information. Went out and I sought information. There's so many places we can go to get information. Amazon, go on Amazon and buy a book about poetry and business, or Go on Amazon and just buy a book about business in general, or how to become a successful artist. You go, you buy those books, you listen to those books, read those books, do the workshops in those books. You can become extremely successful.
That's good. All right. So you got the services. Now, when you're reaching out to these people, these organizations, these schools, right? How did you figure out how to package yourself as someone that they wouldn't look at and be like, who is this person, reaching out to us? Like, we would rather work with an actual, an establishment, like an entity. Like, how did you establish yourself to present yourself in a way that they didn't look at you crazy?
I went to trainings. This is where the trainings, and you got to spend some money. So Odell Bazell, Jeremy Anderson, Les Brown, Eric Thomas, Inky Johnson's, Bob Proctor's, Les Brown's. I went to all of their trainings and I listened to everything that they were saying. And they taught me how to speak, how to sell, how to get repeat and referral business, all of the ins and outs of business. I went to these workshops religiously, man. And I did it. And from there, I was able to come up with my own packaging, with my own pricing, with the things that I need. If you don't have a website, get yourself a one-pager, get your videos, post them on YouTube. Don't be sending nobody MP4 video formats where you got to give them access through a Google Drive to download it. And they don't want to download it because it might be spam and they can't download it anyway because they're on a work computer. And send them a YouTube link. So all of those different things I learned from going to different conferences, trainings. And then once I learned it, I was able to package it.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. We're getting somewhere. I think some folks are getting a lot of value in this conversation here, man. And because this podcast ultimately really is to serve the poet and the people, and to present the value of poetry in a different way, because most people just around the world really have known poetry to be what they've learned in high school.
Yeah.
Shakespeare. Learning and analyzing poems of dead people.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But never had the opportunity to present a poem from their own lived experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Game changer for a lot of people, right? Because a lot of people, they're hoarding a lot of feelings and experiences and trauma, and they haven't figured out an effective, creative, fun way to release that off of them, and so for you as an entity, no longer an individual, to share with a school, an organization, a church, to say, your congregation, your people, your members, your students, they're dealing with a lot of stuff, man. And I just believe through experience that this art form or this service that I provide can help release them from that and kind of help them cope and climb out of it. That says a lot to so many people. But if we have not figured out how to sustain the art form with the business, it just doesn't work.
100%. I think, and I think a lot of times what we see is people fall in love with the art so much that they forget about the business. And that's not just us as the little people. That's even the big people. Lil Wayne fell in love with the art and got cheated and scammed out of millions, hundreds of millions, tens of millions of dollars.
But you know what? They don't forget about it. Let's be honest. They neglect it.
There you go. Neglected. Yes.
Because they'll tell you, I don't want no parts of the
business. It's scary because they haven't done this work yet. They haven't done the core work.
Yeah.
Before core perseverance restoration. You can't persevere until you do the core stuff, and your life won't be restored unless you persevere and you start with your core.
Right. You can't lift as much as you want to lift if you don't get the core right.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or you're going to hurt your lower back.
People who have lower back problems only think they have to strengthen their lower back. It's not just your lower back, it's your core. You got a bad torso. All of that needs to be, I was having lower back issues for the longest. I started working out on my abs and my lower back, but I started doing ab workouts because I need my core needs to be stronger.
Right. Okay. So what's your back office look like? As a business owner that offers poetry and public speaking as a service, what's it look like? How is this holding what you offer up?
Yes. So it holds it up because number one, I've found out how to automate my business. Once I found out how to fully automate my business, it again skyrocketed me because now my assistant and I, we don't have to sit down and hit 700 buttons to do something or send all of these emails. We can do that relatively easy now using different systems, different programs. Now, I recommend everyone go with the free option it's in Google. Okay, go with the free option. It's in Google Sheets. They're going to give you a CRM, and in that, you want basic information. You want name, number, email, school, title. That's pretty much it. And then from there, you want to make sure that you're reaching out to them and sending out to them and sending out to them. And here's the thing: there's fortune in the follow-up. I have a 28-day reach out strategy, meaning they're going to get one email from me every 7 days up to 28 days, meaning that's 4 emails. And plus, in the middle of there, we're also going to be making phone calls. And I just I just listened to something on Instagram the other day, and the guy was talking about making phone calls, and he was talking about language about how to make phone calls. And I'm going to start doing this now. He said, "Hey, Christoph, I sent you a couple of emails, and I didn't get a response back. Obviously, I know you're busy, but I wanted to see where do we go from here." I was like, "Oh, that's smooth." Because it doesn't sound thirsty. You're asking a question. You're putting it back on them in terms of where it is that they want to go. You can handle any objection from there. I was like, yo, that's so smooth. So now after I've sent 3-4 emails, hey, I sent a couple of emails, hadn't had a chance to hear back from you, but I just kind of wanted to know, regarding, booking a speaker or a poet, where do we go from here? Now they're going to say, oh, reach out to me in 6 months or something like that. Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I'll take you off my list. I'll reach back out in another 6 months. Until then, you enjoy your school year. Have a great school year. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Right.
Yeah, when the holiday season come up, you send them a holiday gift.
What's the holiday gift?
Send them that Christmas card. I can't wait to send out them Christmas cards, like you said, man. You said you'd be sending out them cards, yo. I can't wait to take our family pictures with me, the dog, baby Jeff, and my wife, man. We go from the youngs to you. Happy holidays. We appreciate you. Here's a $5 Starbucks, $10 Starbucks gift card. Baby.
Oh man,
let's go ahead and send them out.
And look, you would think $5. What do you mean gonna give somebody $5? What is that? Listen, you receive a $5 Starbucks card and be able to just go through the drive-through and get you a latte or whatever, pumpkin, whatever. You know what I mean? Like that goes a long way.
Goes a long way. Shows that you care. And it's all going to be handwritten too. That's one of the things that my business people told me. They said, don't type nothing up. They said, handwrite that thing, man. Quick note. It don't got to be super long. Happy holidays from the youngs. Hope that you enjoy yourself, and have your wet signature on there, right? Have your wet signature on there. Go to the dollar store, pick up 100 Christmas cards for $1, $5.
That's good. I've never heard of wet signature. That basically means you writing it yourself because the ink is wet.
I took time. Yeah. Yep. I took time to write this. So now you know. Yeah.
That's good, bro. That's
Yep.
good. Let me ask you what's I don't, not who, but like what is your most effective service that has brought you the best business?
Professional development.
Got you. And so with that, you I don't know if you told folks yet. We keeping that.
We good. We good.
Okay.
It's a
All
little.
right. All right. So professional development, you've noticed through you massaging your packages and right, seeing where organizations and schools pain points are, that professional development was a void that you could come in and fill the gap.
Professional development and mentor programs. I'll say that too. And it all centers around enhancing life. Same thing I do when I'm speaking, but now I'm just doing it in a workshop sense. And so now through this, I had to create the difficult thing for me was to create packages, and I'm still not even sold on my packages yet. I feel like it's too much. But I created a bronze, silver, gold, and platinum package. And so bronze is like a 2 to 3 hour session. The silver is 6 sessions. The gold is 12 sessions, and the platinum is 18 sessions. And I was trying to figure out how do I price them out, and that was the biggest thing for me. And so I knew how much my 2 to 3 hour training, would cost, would be $3,000. And then so I just multiplied, to get the silver package, and then I multiplied it again to get the platinum package. And then I just took whatever was in the middle. So I did 18,000, 29,000, and 40,000 for those packages. And now I'm able to present it, because when you're doing these types of things, I can't use my philosophy of excuse me, of what's your budget, because they want to know what they want to see it in a proposal, and you can't what's your budget them, because they're like, no, what's your price?
Right.
And so I had to put that on there, and one of my biggest hiccups has always just been underpricing myself.
Yeah. See, so that was your thing, right? The what was your budget thing? So because that was me and Jeff's difference. My side of things was I know my value, and not to say he doesn't, but this is my mindset. I know my value, and I don't charge, like, for instance, if it's a poem, I don't charge by the poem or how long the set is or whatever, right? I charge by how impactful my poem, my presentation is.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because here's the thing, at that discovery call, when I find out all the inner workings of that event, of that project, whatever it might be, and I find out how much the ticket price is going to be, and how many people are going to be there, and I can kind of gauge where you all are. I can kind of tell what your budget is.
Yep.
Right. And so with you having 150 to 300 people there, and the price is at this, and you got VIP and whatever else, I know that you can. Yeah. No, we're not going to play that game. I know that you can afford, and I'm also confident in the service that I provide. I've already taken you through the system of showing you my worth and my experience and the testimonials, and I'm almost basically giving you a guarantee.
Mm-hmm.
that with working with the Poet Life, or I am Christoph Jenkins, you know you're going to get over and beyond what you're expecting. So meaning what you're investing, because you're not spending, you're investing in me, right?
Yep.
And I'm pretty much guaranteeing the return on your investment, meaning the return on your investment may be your audience leaving there like, yo, that Poet Life was great, right? And then they're telling telling this. So you as an event planner, me being one also, we book people because we want that return on our investment. I'm booking Backpack Jeff because I know he's going to crush it, and people are going to start posting on social media about his performance. Matter of fact, they're going to be posting right when he's performing, using my hashtag, everything, right? So that return on my investment, I'm going to see that quickly. So I won't even feel the investment that I paid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I kind of, now at the same time, I've been shocked where I've challenged myself to like to almost offend with a large price where they actually went higher than my price. And so I'm glad they said it before I did, because I would have shot myself in the foot.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I think it's more so through experience and kind of reading the person, asking the right questions, and setting up the discovery call. Because if you simply announce your set prices, oh, then you done messed up, because you don't know if you're talking to a small nonprofit or small company or a large nonprofit or company, to where you already told them your set price and you don't even know who you're talking to.
Facts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it takes repetition. It takes experience to know, I need not to do that. Or like for you, I need to go to these mentors. I need to go to these workshops so I can then learn, so I don't have to make the mistakes myself. I can learn from others' mistakes. You know what I mean? So I can jump right in and get what I need, man. So that's good stuff, man. Tell us where you're going, man. Tell us what you got coming up.
So, wow. So I host every fourth Thursday now at Busboys and Poets in Columbia. Right now, I am working on continuing to build out my mentor and my professional development programs, because I do have contracts that are coming up that need to be executed starting in October. So that has a lot of my attention. The best place to kind of keep up with me is just at Backpack Jeff everywhere. I think you'll see a lot. You'll get inspired. You'll get motivated. You'll get a lot of great information that will help you, as you continue along your entrepreneurial or your creative journey. I want to see everybody win. I think everybody deserves to win. I believe that success is guaranteed, but it is not promised, meaning it's guaranteed that you will end up there if you continue, but it's not promised, because you have to do the work in order to get to the guarantee. So, man, as far as catching me places, man, I don't, it's funny because I don't do a lot of poetry features anymore, simply because, I have other things to do at this moment. And nobody really asks me to do features anymore, which is, kind of interesting, but, no sweat off my back, but I'm doing other things now that's occupying a lot of time. So it gives me more time to do those things.
Gotcha. I keep hearing about this winner's circle, man. Tell the people what you got going on as far as this winner's circle.
Yeah. So the winner's circle is a group coaching program where you can come and you can kind of fulfill your needs and desires as an entrepreneur or as a creative. And the tagline behind the winner's circle is, Winners write history, losers become a part of the story. In fact, anybody who comes into the winner circle, if you go in the winner circle, if you use the coupon code POETLIFE, you'll get 100% off for your first month. That means it'll be absolutely free. You'll get 8 group training sessions. See if you like it. Come take take it for a spin. See what happens. After that, it's only $87 a month in regards to investment. But I promise you, the contracts that I'm able to get people, the money that I'm able to get people is going to be that's literally nothing for what I'm able to do with you and for you, and that's I'm able to help you with your business. So if you go to backpackjeff.com, go into the shop, go into the winner circle, use the coupon code POETLIFE, you'll get 100% off. That'll only be until the end of September, though.
I love it. I love it. That's beautiful, man. Hey, Jeff, man, I really appreciate the opportunity to converse with you, chop it up with you, and I'm sure, for sure, that those who are watching, listening, have gotten a lot of feedback, value out of this, and they're going to share some feedback. Those watching, listening, drop a comment. Let us know what your thoughts are as it relates to this conversation that we had. We want you all to get involved into the conversation, right? And we're going to take a look at the comments, whether it is on through the podcast element, through the audio, or YouTube with the video. I want to encourage everybody that is listening or watching. We want to welcome you. You are now a part of the Poetry Business Network. And really to get really connected with this community of poets all around the world, we want you to go to poetrybusinessnetwork.com. Right now, it will take you straight to a Facebook group that is free. It's public, and you just simply got to answer 1 or 2 questions. So we'll make sure that you are about what you're talking about, right? We want to take in action takers, not those who are just sitting and watching. All right. So really excited about what's to come. Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the Poetry Business Challenge, where we challenge you on a daily basis to take simple steps, 1 step forward each day of the week, Monday through Friday, to further your progress and move the needle in your life and in your business. So really excited. Our website is thepoetlife.com. And what else, man? If you could leave something, Jeff, what would you leave the people, bro?
I would tell them never chase a bag. Always stay in your bag, so you never got to chase a bag. And in your bag doesn't necessarily mean monetary. In your bag means here. We talked about it pretty much throughout this whole entire thing, y'all. Stay in your bag. Stay hungry for more information that can lead to your ultimate overall success, and you deserve to be successful, and you're worthy of it.
I love it, Jeff. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody listening and watching. Listen, get connected with us. It is time to move, right? You can't move without moving.
For sure.
It's just not going to work. You know what I mean? So as you heard our conversation, just based on our experiences, we want you to experience success. All right. So it's the Poet Life. It's Backpack Jeff, and we're out of here.
Peace.